In the Nine Realms, fate was supposed to be immutable. The Norns wove destiny into Yggdrasil's fabric, and even the Allfather bowed to prophecy. But what happens when something falls from between the branches, something that belongs to no prophecy and answers only to rage? The answer arrived during Fimbulwinter's cruelest hour, when reality tore open above Midgard. Kratos heard it first. The sound cut through howling wind as he taught Atreus to read elk tracks, reality itself ripping apart. The ghost of Sparta's eyes narrowed. He'd heard that sound before, when existence bent. "Father," Atreus's bow was drawn. "Stay behind me." The sky split, not like the Bifrost or mystic gateways. This was a wound, a ragged gash of sickly green light. Something massive fell through, trailing emerald fire. It hit Earth half a mile away, shaking the ground. Ancient trees exploded, snow vaporized in a 300-foot circle. Then came the roar. Nothing like dragons or Jotun. This carried something primal, rage without reason, fury that existed for its own sake. Even Kratos' hand tightened on his axe. They found the crater steaming in frigid air. At its center lay a man, 7 feet tall, wearing strange tattered clothing, skin tinged green, muscles too large for his frame. Green blood pooled beneath him, hissing where it touched snow. The man's eyes snapped open, holy green, burning with barely human intelligence. His chest heaved, fingers dug into frozen earth, and then he began to grow. "Run!" Kratos shoved Atreus back. The transformation was obscene. Muscle erupted like tumors, bones lengthened, skin shifted from pale to jade to deep emerald. The body doubled in size, then tripled. What had been a man was now 9 feet of corded green muscle, with fists like boulders and eyes holding nothing but mindless fury. The Hulk charged. Kratos barely raised his Leviathan axe before the fist crashed into it. The impact sent him skidding backward 50 feet into an oak tree. The oak lost. In 40 years of war, across 2 pantheons, Kratos had killed gods and titans. He knew power. This thing was stronger than Thor. "Atreus, light arrows." Nista struck the Hulk's face and shattered like glass. The creature turned toward Atreus with a snarl. Kratos' axe flew, burying itself in the Hulk's shoulder. The creature roared, not in pain, but irritation, and ripped it free. Where it had cut, the wound was already closing. Kratos charged, struck the knee. The Hulk stumbled. Its fist came down like a meteor. Kratos raised his arms. The blow landed like thunder. His boots carved trenches through permafrost as he was driven 6 inches into ground. His bones screamed. "Hey, monster!" Atreus' voice cracked with divine power. Spartan rage touched with something Jotun. The Hulk paused, its head tilted. For one moment, something almost human flickered behind those radioactive eyes. Confusion. Recognition. Then it was gone. But that moment was enough. Kratos' hands blazed with Spartan rage. He caught the descending fists, demigod against gamma monster. Frost spread from his arms as divine power met radiation. The earth cracked beneath them. The Hulk stopped pushing. Its eyes widened. Its body shuddered, and impossible strength faltered. Kratos twisted, redirecting force, and slammed his shoulder into the creature's chest with every ounce of Spartan rage. The Hulk flew backward, crashing through trees before hitting a boulder hard enough to split stone. Kratos stood in his crater, breathing hard, arms trembling. This creature could match him, possibly exceed him. The Hulk rose, but its movements were slower. Its head swayed, then it began to shrink. Within 30 seconds, the 9-foot monster was once again a man, naked in snow, shivering violently. He looked up with wholly human eyes, brown eyes, terrified eyes. "Please, please don't. I can't. I didn't mean to." Tears froze on his cheeks. "Where am I? What happened? Oh God, did I hurt anyone?" Atreus approached cautiously, offering his cloak. "You're in Midgard, in the 9 realms. You fell from somewhere else." The man took it with shaking hands. "Midgard? Like Norse mythology Midgard?" He looked around wildly, seeing devastation. "No, that's impossible. I was in the lab. The gamma resonance cascade was supposed to stabilize, but the reading spiked." His eyes focused on his hands. Green blood stained his nails. "Oh God, I transformed. How long was I?"
"Minutes," Kratos said flatly. "Who are you?" "Banner. Dr. Bruce Banner." His laugh was broken. "When I change, when I become that, I can't control it. I don't remember. Did I hurt you?" "You fought well," Kratos interrupted. "Like a warrior." "I'm not a warrior. I'm a scientist." Banner's voice cracked. "I'm trying to help people, not—" He gestured at devastation. "Not this." Atreus knelt beside him. "What do you remember before?" "The experiment, harnessing gamma radiation for sustainable energy. But there was an astronomical alignment and containment collapsed. The last thing I remember is green light, feeling pulled apart." He looked at Kratos desperately. "This isn't Earth, is it?" "You're in the 9 realms," Atreus said, "connected by the world tree. If you fell through a rift, then I'm not in my universe anymore." Banner's laugh was hollow. "And I brought the Hulk with me, the monster that ruins everything." His voice dropped. "I can feel him, right now, under my skin. He's angry you hurt us. He wants to finish the fight." "Can you stop him?" Kratos asked. "I don't know. Sometimes. Sometimes not. It depends on fear, anger, stress, pain. Sometimes just bad luck." He pulled the cloak tighter. "You should probably kill me now, while I'm human, before I change again and hurt someone who can't defend themselves." "No," Atreus said immediately. "You didn't ask for this. You're a victim." "I stopped being a victim the first time the Hulk killed someone," Banner said quietly. "Now I'm just dangerous." Kratos studied him. He saw exhaustion, self-loathing, desperate control. He recognized it. He'd worn the same expression after killing his family in blind rage, manipulated by Ares. This man was a warrior who didn't want to be. "You will come with us," Kratos decided, "to our home." "That's insane. I just tried to kill you." "Yes, and you failed." Kratos turned. "If you're trapped here, you'll need to survive. And if you're dangerous, better where I can see it." Atreus helped Banner up. "My father fought Thor and won. If anyone can help you control the other guy, it's him." Banner stumbled between them. "Thor, the actual Norse god? He's a drunk, kind of an asshole. You'd be disappointed." Despite everything, Banner almost smiled. Then his expression hardened. "If I change again, if I lose control, then we'll stop you," Kratos said simply, "or die trying. Either way, you won't be alone." Banner was silent. Then, quietly, "Thank you." Behind them, snow fell again, covering evidence of the impossible. But the 9 realms had felt the impact. In Asgard, Odin's ravens whispered of a green monster bleeding radiation. In Vanaheim, Freya's bones ached with premonition. And in some dark hall, Thor paused mid-drink, sensing something he'd never felt before: competition. If you crave stories where universes collide and monsters seek redemption in the cruelest of realms, smash that subscribe button, because the 9 realms have never seen rage like this.
The house was smaller than Banner expected, not a grand hall or fortress, but a modest cabin built into a cliffside, overlooking a frozen lake that stretched to the horizon. Smoke rose from the chimney. Runes were carved into every doorframe and windowsill. Protection, Atreus explained, though Banner suspected they wouldn't do much against what lived inside his skin. Inside, warmth. A hearth fire crackled. Furs covered the floor. Weapons lined the walls. Axes, swords, shields, each one looking like it had tasted blood and would again. Banner sat near the fire, wrapped in furs that Atreus had provided, drinking something hot and bitter that the boy claimed would settle the spirit. It wasn't working. Banner could feel the Hulk pacing beneath his consciousness like a caged animal. Every heartbeat was a reminder that the other guy was right there, waiting for an excuse. Kratos stood by the door, arms crossed, watching Banner with the intensity of a man who'd learned never to trust anything that could kill him. The Leviathan axe leaned against the wall within easy reach. "You said you're a scientist?" Atreus said, sitting cross-legged across from Banner. The boy couldn't be more than 14, but his eyes held something older. "What were you trying to do with the gamma whatever?" "Gamma radiation." Banner set down the cup. His hands were steadier now, but he could still see the faint green tinge under his nail fingers. "In my world, we were trying to harness it as a clean energy source. No pollution, infinite sustainability. I thought I could help people. Instead, I created a monster." "You didn't create it," Atreus said. "It sounds like an accident." "The Hulk was an accident. What I've done with him since, that's on me. 7 years. 7 years of trying to control him, contain him, cure him. I've tried meditation, isolation, experimental suppressants, even..." He stopped. "Nothing works. The angrier I get, the stronger he becomes, and there's always something to be angry about." Kratos finally spoke. "You speak of this Hulk as if it is separate from you. It is. He is." Banner met the god's eyes. "When I transform, I'm not there. It's like falling asleep and waking up to find out you destroyed a city. The Hulk has his own thoughts, his own feelings. He's not just rage, he's a personality. A child, really. A very strong, very angry child who doesn't understand his own strength." "Can you speak to him? Like, in your head?" Banner hesitated. "Sometimes, when I'm close to transforming, I can hear him, feel what he's feeling. He's scared, mostly, and angry at me for trying to lock him away. He thinks I hate him." "Do you?" The question hung in the air. Banner stared into the fire. "I don't know. How do you feel about a part of yourself that hurts everyone you've ever cared about, that turns you into the thing you've spent your whole life fighting against?" He pulled the furs tighter. "In my world, I have protocols, people who can help contain him if he gets loose, technology that can track him, sedate him, or at least evacuate civilians before..." His voice cracked. "Here, I have nothing. No lab, no equipment, no support system. Just me and him, and a realm I don't understand." "Then learn," Kratos said flatly. "The 9 realms are harsh. Fimbulwinter has killed more people than war. If you want to survive, you adapt." "I'm not worried about surviving. I'm worried about everyone else surviving me." A knock at the door interrupted them. Not a polite knock. 3 heavy blows that rattled the hinges.
Kratos' hand moved to his axe instantly. Atreus stood, bow materializing in his hands. "Expecting company?" Banner asked. "No." Kratos moved to the door, opened it slightly. Cold wind howled inside, and with it came a woman. She was beautiful in the way winter storms were beautiful, dangerous, inevitable, ancient. Her hair was white blonde, her eyes glacier blue, and she wore robes that seemed woven from mist and starlight. Tattoos covered her arms, runes that shifted and moved like living things. Power radiated from her like heat from a forge. "Freya," Kratos said, not lowering his guard. "Kratos," her voice carried the weight of centuries. "I felt it. 2 hours ago. The realms themselves shuddered. Something fell from between the branches. Something that doesn't belong." Her eyes found Banner, and he felt pinned by that gaze like an insect under glass. Something dangerous. Banner stood up slowly, keeping his hands visible. "Dr. Bruce Banner, I'm not here by choice." Freya entered without invitation, circling Banner like a predator examining prey. "You reek of magic, but not any magic I know. Your blood sings with power, unnatural power, power that corrupts." "It's not magic," Banner said carefully. "It's science. Gamma radiation, a form of energy from my world. Energy, magic, words for the same force." Freya stopped in front of him. "I am Freya, the Vanir goddess, once queen of the Valkyries. Now," her expression darkened, "now I protect what remains of the realms from threats. And you, Dr. Banner, are a threat." Banner's heart rate spiked. He could feel the Hulk stirring, responding to the perceived danger. I'm not here to hurt anyone." "Yet you have already fought, Kratos. I can smell the battle on you both." Freya's hand moved in a complex pattern, and runes blazed to life around Banner. They formed a cage of golden light, intricate and beautiful, and absolutely unyielding. Satyr, the magic of the Vanir. It can bind even gods.
The runes touched Banner's skin, and he felt something trying to push down on him, to compress the Hulk deeper inside. The other guy roared in his mind, furious at being contained. "Wait," Atreus stepped forward. "He's not—" Banner's eyes flashed green, his muscles tensed, the runes flickered. "Don't," Banner gasped. "Don't make him angry. Please, you don't understand what—" "I understand perfectly." Freya's voice was cold. "You're a threat to the 9 realms. I've spent too long protecting what remains to let some outsider—" The runes shattered. Banner's transformation was faster this time, more violent. In 3 seconds, the mild-mannered scientist was gone. In his place stood the Hulk, 9 feet of gamma-irradiated fury that radiated heat like a furnace. The cabin suddenly felt very small. "Magic hurt Banner!" The Hulk's voice was like grinding boulders. "Hulk smash magic witch!" Freya's eyes widened, not with fear, but with recognition. Jotun? No. Something else. Something worse. The Hulk's fist went through the cabin wall like paper. Kratos tackled Atreus, getting the boy clear as the roof began to collapse. Freya's hands moved in complex patterns, throwing up barriers of golden light. The Hulk punched through them like they were cobwebs. "Freya, stop antagonizing it!" Kratos roared, Leviathan axe in hand. "It broke my binding. Nothing breaks my—" The Hulk grabbed a support beam, solid oak, thick as a man's torso, and swung it like a club. Freya barely dove clear. The beam obliterated the hearth, sending stones and embers flying. The cabin was coming down around them. Outside, Kratos grabbed Atreus and leapt through the collapsing doorway. Freya followed, her wings, massive, spectral, covered in Valkyrie runes, materializing to carry her clear. The Hulk burst through the wall, roaring, scanning for threats. His eyes locked on Freya, hovering over the frozen lake. "Magic witch try hurt Banner. Hulk protect Banner." "I'm trying to protect the realms." Freya's hands blazed with Sather. "Stand down, creature, or I'll—" "You'll what?" Kratos stepped between them, axe lowered but ready. Something that broke your magic like glass? That could match Thor in strength? Use your head, goddess. Freya's jaw clenched. If you're defending this thing, I'm defending a man who didn't ask for this. Banner is cursed, like I was cursed, like Atreus is cursed with prophecy. Would you kill us for what we didn't choose? The Hulk's attention shifted to Kratos. His eyes narrowed. Bald man fight Hulk before. Fight good. Hulk respect. Then respect this, Kratos said carefully. Banner wants control. You breaking free every time someone threatens him isn't helping. It's making everything worse. Hulk, protect Banner. That what Hulk do. You're killing him. The words were quiet, but carried across the frozen lake. Every time you come out, Banner loses more of himself. Eventually, there won't be a Banner anymore. Just you. Alone. Forever. Something flickered in those radioactive eyes. Not quite understanding, but close. Banner, hate Hulk. Want Hulk gone. Banner's afraid of you. Not the same thing. I know what it's like to be afraid of your own power, to hurt people you don't want to hurt, but you can learn control if you choose to. The Hulk stared at him for a long moment. His breathing slowed, his fists unclenched slightly. Hulk can learn if you let Banner help you, work together instead of fighting each other. The transformation reversed slowly this time. Muscle collapsed, bones shortened, green faded to human tan. Banner fell to his knees in the snow, gasping, naked and shivering. Atreus immediately ran to him with more furs. Freya landed, her wings dissipating. She studied Banner with new eyes. He understands speech. The beast. It's sapient. He's not a beast, Banner managed through chattering teeth. He's the Hulk. And yes, he's sapient. That's what makes it so much worse. I'm not fighting a mindless force. I'm fighting a person who's trapped inside me and hates me for it. Freya knelt, and this time her expression held something other than suspicion. In the realms, we have legends of berserkers, warriors who channel rage to become unstoppable, but they train for years to control the beast. You have no such training. No, Banner admitted. I have 7 years of failure. Then perhaps, Freya said slowly, you need a different teacher. The Spartan rage. You control it, channel it, use it without letting it consume you. I've had centuries of practice, and even then, I sometimes lose control. But you learned, Freya stood. And if this Hulk is sapient, perhaps he can learn too. She fixed Banner with a stern gaze. But know this, outsider. If you threaten the realms, if you let your beast run wild without control, I will find a way to stop you permanently. Banner met her eyes. If I lose control, really lose control, I'd thank you for it. A sound cut through the frozen air, distant but growing closer. Thunder, but not the natural kind. This thunder carried purpose, and with it came the smell of ozone and alcohol. Kratos' expression darkened. Atreus, inside now. But father.
Now, the boy ran toward what remained of the cabin. Banner stood on shaking legs, pulling the furs around himself. What is that? The worst possible timing, Freya muttered. She and Kratos exchanged a look that carried volumes of history. The thunder intensified. Lightning cracked across the clear winter sky, unnatural and angry. And then he appeared, materializing from a bolt of electricity like something conjured from a storm. Thor was nothing like the myths Banner knew. No cape, no winged helmet, no noble bearing. This Thor was massive, easily as tall as the Hulk, broader, with a beard matted with mead and eyes that held the kind of violence that came from centuries of killing. He wore battered armor, carried Mjolnir loosely in one hand, and swayed slightly as if drunk. Which, Banner realized, he probably was. Kratos! Thor's voice was a rumble of distant thunder. Been a while, hasn't it?
Still playing house in the woods? Still pretending you're not what you are? A monster dressed up as a father? Leave, Thor. This doesn't concern you. Oh, but it does. Thor's eyes found Banner, and his grin was all teeth. The Allfather sent me. Said something fell from the sky. Something strong. Something that might be a threat to Asgard. He tilted his head. That you, little man? You the thing that shook the realms? Banner's heart hammered. He could feel the Hulk already responding to the threat, eager for another fight. I don't want trouble. Bit late for that, Thor took a step forward. See, I'm the Asgardian god of thunder. When something threatens the realms, I put it down. Simple as that. His eyes gleamed with something uglier than duty. But I'm hoping you'll give me a reason. Been too long since I had a proper fight. Thor, Freya's voice carried warning. This isn't... Shut up, witch. This is between me and the freak. Thor's gaze never left Banner. So what's it going to be? You're going to come quietly to Asgard, let Odin poke around in your head, figure out what you are? Or, his grin widened, are you going to make this interesting? Banner's hands began to shake. His vision tinged green at the edges. The Hulk was screaming in his mind, demanding to be let out, to smash this arrogant god into paste. Don't, Banner whispered. Please, if I transform again so soon, I might not be able to change back. I might what? Hulk out? Thor laughed. It was not a kind sound. Yeah, I heard you talking. Heard about the big green monster. Heard Kratos say you're strong as me. He raised Mjolnir. Lightning crackled around the hammer. Let's test that, shall we? Kratos moved between them, axe raised. You'll have to go through me first. Now that, Thor said, his grin becoming genuine, sounds like a fun afternoon. The frozen lake groaned beneath them. Banner's skin began to green. And in the distance, watching from Asgard through the eyes of ravens, Odin smiled. The game was beginning, and the 9 realms would never be the same. The transformation took 5 seconds. 5 seconds where Bruce Banner's desperate attempt at control shattered against the overwhelming surge of gamma radiation flooding his cells. 5 seconds where Thor's grin widened, Mjolnir crackling with anticipation. 5 seconds where Kratos positioned himself between a god who'd killed giants and a monster who'd broken worlds. Then the Hulk was there, and the frozen lake beneath them cracked like thunder. Thunder god want fight? Hulk give fight. Thor's laugh was genuine this time, not mocking, but delighted. Finally, something interesting. He spun Mjolnir, and lightning arced across the ice in jagged patterns. Let's see if you're worth Odin's concern, freak. The hammer flew, not at the Hulk, at Kratos. The Spartan barely had time to raise his Leviathan axe before Mjolnir struck. The impact sent him flying backward across the lake, skipping like a stone before crashing through the ice. The hammer returned to Thor's hand instantly, and the god was already moving, closing the distance to the Hulk with speed that shouldn't be possible for something his size. You wanted my attention? You got it! His fist, wrapped in lightning, crashed into the Hulk's jaw. The sound was like worlds colliding. The Hulk's head snapped back, and for the first time since arriving in the 9 realms, he felt something he rarely experienced. Pain. Real pain. The Hulk's eyes blazed brighter. His muscles swelled, growing another 6 inches in height, mass piling on to mass as his rage, and therefore his strength, increased. Hulk stronger than Thunder God! He swung. Thor raised Mjolnir to block. Gamma-powered fist met Uru-forged hammer, and the shockwave shattered ice for 300 yards in every direction. Freya threw up a barrier to protect Atreus, who'd emerged from the ruined cabin despite his father's orders. "Atreus, get back!" Freya's wings flared as she maintained the shield. Chunks of ice the size of houses were flying through the air like shrapnel. Thor and the Hulk exchanged blows at a pace that made them blur. Each impact sent cracks spiderwebbing through the frozen lake. Each roar of rage or laughter echoed off the mountains. They were perfectly matched, Thor's divine strength and millennia of combat experience against the Hulk's ever-increasing power and unstoppable regeneration. A fist caught Thor in the ribs. The god grunted, actually staggered. The Hulk pressed forward, raining down blows like a green avalanche. Thor blocked, parried, returned strikes of his own. They crashed through the ice into the freezing water beneath, and the lake exploded upward as they continued fighting underwater. Kratos burst from the ice where he'd fallen, Leviathan axe blazing with frost. "Thor!" The god of thunder emerged from the water, throwing the Hulk ahead of him. The giant hit the shoreline hard enough to create a crater, but was back on his feet instantly. Thor landed beside Kratos, breathing hard, grin still plastered across his face. "Stay out of this, Kratos. This is between me and—" Kratos' fist caught him in the throat, not a killing blow, but enough to stagger the drunken god. "You came to my home. You threatened someone under my protection. This became my business the moment you arrived." Thor rubbed his throat, and something dangerous flickered behind his eyes. "You want in on this? Fine. Been wanting a rematch anyway." "I don't want to fight. I want you to leave." "Hulk not done with Thunder God!" The Hulk charged from the crater, but this time Kratos moved to intercept. "Enough!" The Spartan's voice carried the weight of absolute command. He caught the Hulk's fist, barely, divine strength straining against gamma-powered rage. "Banner, I know you're in there. You have to stop this." "Banner weak, Hulk strong, Hulk smash." "Banner's not weak. He survived 7 years with you. That takes more strength than you understand." Kratos was being pushed backward, boots carving trenches through frozen earth. "You want to protect Banner? Then think. Thor's drunk, proud, and looking for a fight. Every blow you land makes him respect you more, makes him want to test you more. You're giving him exactly what he wants."
Something flickered in the Hulk's radioactive eyes. Confusion. The pressure on Kratos' arms lessened slightly. Thor chose that moment to attack. Mjolnir flew, wreathed in lightning, aimed at the Hulk's back. Kratos saw it coming, made a choice, released the Hulk, and spun, axe meeting hammer mid-flight. The collision sent both weapons spinning away, and suddenly it was Kratos and Thor, face to face, two god-killers with too much history. "You've gotten soft, Spartan. Protecting monsters now? What would the Greek pantheon think?" "They're dead. I killed them." Kratos' voice was flat, and I learned something from it. Monsters aren't born. They're made. Usually by gods who think they're better than everyone else. Thor's punch was faster than thought. Kratos blocked, countered, and they were suddenly exchanging blows with the precision of masters. This wasn't the brawling match with the Hulk. This was two warriors who'd fought for centuries, who knew every trick, every feint, every weakness. The Hulk watched, chest heaving, mind struggling to process. The bald man was fighting for him, protecting him, like Banner tried to protect other people. Like Banner said real warriors did. Atreus emerged from behind Freya's barrier. "Stop it! All of you, just stop!" His voice cracked with power, not Spartan rage, but something else. Something that made the air shimmer and the world tree's distant presence feel suddenly very close. The boy's eyes glowed with runic energy. Atreus, no! Freya reached for him, but it was too late. I said stop! The word carried weight that even gods couldn't ignore. Thor and Kratos were forced apart, their muscles suddenly locked. The Hulk dropped to one knee, fighting against invisible pressure. The boy has Jotun magic, Thor said, struggling against the compulsion. Odin's going to love this. Let them go, Atreus, Freya said carefully. You're not ready for this kind of casting. It'll burn you out. Not until they listen! Sweat beaded on Atreus's forehead. Maintaining a spell strong enough to affect 3 of the most powerful beings in the 9 realms was clearly taking its toll. Dr. Banner didn't ask to come here. He's not a threat unless you make him one. Thor, you came here looking for a fight, and you got one. Are you satisfied? Or are you going to keep pushing until someone actually dies? Thor's grin had faded. He studied the boy with something approaching respect. Odin said to investigate. I investigated. The green thing's strong. Stupid, but strong. Hulk not stupid. Hulk smash good. Smashing isn't intelligence, you overgrown... Stop. Actually thinking for once. Wait, you understand what I'm saying. You're not just raging. You're thinking. Hulk always think. Puny humans just never listen. The admission hung in the frozen air. Even Kratos looked surprised. Atreus's spell faltered, and everyone suddenly could move again. The boy collapsed, and Freya caught him before he hit the ground. Foolish child. Using that much power before you're trained, you could have torn yourself apart. Had to stop them, Atreus gasped. They were going to kill each other. No, Kratos said quietly, walking to his son. Thor and I understand each other. The fight would have ended before that, wouldn't it?
Thor rolled his shoulders, testing for injuries. His ribs ached where the Hulk had landed several solid blows. Maybe, or maybe I was drunk enough not to care. He pointed Mjolnir at the Hulk, who tensed. But the boy's right about one thing. You're not just a monster. You're something else. Something complicated. Hulk, protect Banner, the green giant said, and his voice was quieter now, less rage-filled. Banner won't help people, won't be good, but everyone afraid, everyone attack, so Hulk protect. By smashing? Thor asked. Hulk only no smashing. Banner no words, no science. Hulk just no smashing. There was something almost sad in those radioactive eyes. But smashing keep Banner safe. Thor was quiet for a long moment. Then he lowered Mjolnir. Odin's not going to like this. He wanted me to bring you in, find out what you are, where you came from, whether you're a threat to his precious Asgard. And Kratos' hand drifted toward his recalled axe. And I'm going to tell him you're handled, that Kratos has you under control. Thor's grin returned, but it was different now, less mean-spirited, more genuine. Because if I bring you to Asgard, Odin will either try to weaponize you or kill you. Either way, we lose something interesting. He pointed at the Hulk. You, green thing, you've got strength, real strength, more than most gods I've fought. But strength without control is just destruction. Hulk, no, the green giant said quietly. Banner say same thing. Banner's smart. Listen to him. Thor turned to Kratos. Keep him away from Asgard. Odin's paranoid enough about Ragnarok without adding a gamma-powered variable to the prophecy. We weren't planning a visit, Kratos said dryly. Good, because next time we fight, I'll be sober. Might actually be a challenge then. He summoned lightning, preparing to leave, then paused. One more thing. Freya,
You felt the realms shake when this thing arrived, yeah? Yes, the goddess said, still supporting Atreus. Why? Because Odin felt it too, and not just him. The Norns, the Valkyries, every being sensitive to fate and prophecy. Thor's expression darkened. Whatever you are, Hulk, you're not supposed to be here. You're not in any prophecy, not woven into any fate. You're a blank spot in destiny itself. So? Kratos asked. So, Odin hates things he can't predict, hates them enough to destroy them before they can disrupt his precious plans. Odin met Kratos' eyes. You made an enemy today, Spartan. Not me. I respect strength, but Odin. And when the Allfather wants something gone, it gets gone. Lightning flashed, thunder cracked, and Thor vanished, leaving only the smell of ozone and the lingering sense that something terrible had been set in motion. The Hulk's transformation reversed slowly. This time, Banner managed to stay conscious through it, feeling every moment of muscle collapsing and bones shortening. He hit the frozen ground gasping, and Kratos was there immediately with furs. Did we... Banner couldn't finish the sentence. You fought a god to a standstill, Freya said. There was no praise in her voice, but no condemnation either. And you proved you're sapient, both of you, Banner and Hulk. That changes things. Changes them how? Banner wrapped himself in the furs, shivering violently. It means you're not a monster, Atreus said weakly. You're a person. 2 people, maybe, but people. We can help him, right? Teach him control, like you learned? Kratos studied Banner for a long moment. Control isn't taught. It's earned, through pain, failure, and time. He extended a hand. But you don't have to earn it alone. Banner stared at that hand. Behind him, the ruined cabin smoldered. Around him, ice was shattered across a frozen lake. Above him, the sky was clear, but he could feel storm clouds gathering, metaphorical ones that threatened to drown them all. He took Kratos' hand. Then I guess, Banner said, pulling himself to his feet, we'd better get started.
3 weeks. That's how long Banner survived in the 9 realms before Odin made his move. They were good weeks, all things considered. Kratos rebuilt the cabin with timber from the forest, and Banner helped, carefully, always aware that one moment of frustration could bring the Hulk roaring out. Atreus taught him about the realms, about Yggdrasil and the prophecies, about Ragnarok and Winter. Freya visited twice, testing Banner's control with increasingly complex satyr bindings that the Hulk learned to resist without transforming fully. The key, Banner discovered, was communication. Every morning he sat in meditation, not the desperate suppression techniques he'd used in his own world, but something different. Kratos called it acknowledging the beast. Banner called it talking to my anger issues. The Hulk called it finally listening. You're not a disease I need to cure, Banner said aloud, sitting cross-legged in the snow outside the rebuilt cabin. His breath misted in the frozen air. You're a part of me, a part I've been trying to kill for 7 years. Deep in his mind, the Hulk rumbled. Not words, but feelings. Hurt, anger, loneliness. I know. I'm sorry. I didn't know how else to deal with you. Where I come from, you're dangerous. You hurt people. More feelings. Confusion. The Hulk didn't want to hurt people. The Hulk wanted to protect Banner, but everyone always attacked, always tried to cage them, always forced the transformation. It's different here, Banner said. Kratos understands. He's killed people he loved while consumed by rage. He knows what it's like to be a weapon that can't be sheathed. The Hulk's presence in Banner's mind shifted. Curious. Could Kratos teach them? Could the bald man show them how to be strong without being destructive? Maybe, if we're willing to learn. The conversation was interrupted by a sound Banner had learned to dread. The horn of Jallarhorn, distant but unmistakable. It was the sound Heimdall used to announce arrivals in Asgard. But this was different. This was a war horn. This was a summons. Kratos emerged from the cabin, axes in hand, both Leviathan and the blades of chaos he rarely used. Get inside, now. What is that? Einherjar, Odin's warriors. Kratos' expression was grim. Dead heroes from Valhalla, bound to serve the Allfather. If they're here, Odin's patience has run out. They came through a Bifrost portal that tore open the sky. Not the rainbow bridge of legend, but something darker, more violent. 50 warriors in golden armor materialized on the frozen lake, each one carrying weapons that gleamed with runic power. At their head was a woman Banner recognized from Atreus' descriptions, Sif, Thor's wife, goddess of war. She was beautiful in the way swords were beautiful, elegant, deadly, purposeful. Her golden hair was braided for battle, and she carried a staff that crackled with the same energy as Thor's lightning. But where Thor had been drunk and almost playful, Sif was cold, calculated, professional. Kratos, son of Zeus, by order of the Allfather, you will surrender the anomaly, the one who fell from beyond the branches, the one who threatens the 9 realms. No, Kratos said simply. Then you stand in defiance of Asgard itself. Sif raised her staff. Einherjar, take them both. The dead heroes charged. Kratos met them head-on, Leviathan axe cleaving through golden armor like it was paper. But these weren't mortal soldiers. They were Odin's chosen, warriors who'd earned their place in Valhalla through legend and blood. They fought with coordination born of centuries, and for every one Kratos cut down, 2 more pressed forward. Banner's heart rate spiked, his vision tinged green. No, not now. Let Hulk out! Atreus shouted from the cabin doorway, bow in hand, arrows already flying. We need him! If I transform, Odin wins. He gets proof that I'm dangerous, that I'm a threat. You are dangerous. Freya materialized in a swirl of satyr, her wings spread, throwing Einherjar back with blasts of Vanir magic. The question isn't whether you're dangerous, it's whether you're in control. And Einherjar broke through Kratos' defense, sword raised to strike Banner. The Hulk roared inside his mind, desperate to protect, to smash, to survive. Banner made a choice.
Okay, he whispered. Okay, we do this together, you and me. But you have to listen. You have to control yourself. The Hulk's response was immediate. Yes, Hulk listen. Hulk learn. Banner and Hulk together. The transformation was different this time. Slower, more controlled. Banner felt every moment of it, the gamma radiation flooding his cells, the muscle mass expanding, the bones lengthening. But he didn't lose consciousness. He didn't disappear into the rage. Instead, he felt the Hulk's mind merge with his own, 2 personalities becoming one unified force. When the Hulk opened his eyes, they glowed green, but with intelligence behind them, with purpose. Hulk, the giant said carefully, as if testing the words. Protect friends. The Einherjar, who'd been about to strike Banner, froze, staring up at the 9-foot wall of green muscle. The Hulk's fist came down, not in blind rage, but with precision. The warrior's armor crumpled. He flew backward into 3 of his companions. Sif's eyes widened. It speaks? It thinks? Hulk always think. Gold woman just never ask. He turned to Kratos. Bold man teach Hulk control. Now Hulk show Gold woman control.
What followed wasn't a rampage, it was a demonstration. The Hulk moved through the Einherjar like a force of nature, but a controlled one. Each blow was calculated, each throw was precise. He disabled rather than killed, crushed armor rather than flesh. When an Einherjar tried to flank Atreus, the Hulk was there, blocking the strike and gently, relatively speaking, tossing the warrior into the frozen lake. Kratos fought beside him, and for the first time, they moved as a unit. The Spartan would create openings, and the Hulk would exploit them. The Hulk would draw attention, and Kratos would strike from blind spots. It was brutal, efficient, and absolutely devastating. Within 5 minutes, 47 Einherjar lay scattered across the ice, alive but thoroughly defeated. Only 3 remained standing, Sif and 2 elite guards who'd wisely chosen to protect their goddess rather than continue the assault. Sif stared at the Hook with something approaching awe. Impossible! Thor said you were a mindless beast. Odin's ravens reported nothing but rage and destruction. Thor fight Hulk when Hulk angry. Gold woman see Hulk when Hulk choose fight. Big difference. You're in control, both of you. She looked between the Hulk and Kratos. The Allfather said you were a threat, that you'd bring chaos to the realms. Odin sees threats everywhere, Freya said, landing beside them. It's made him paranoid, made him willing to destroy anything that doesn't fit his precious prophecies. The prophecies exist for a reason, Sif said, but her voice lacked conviction. Ragnarok is coming. The Allfather only tries to protect. The Allfather tries to protect his power, Kratos interrupted. I've seen it before, in Zeus, in Odin's predecessor. When gods become paranoid, when they start seeing threats in every shadow, they become the very monsters they fear. Sif was silent for a long moment. Then she lowered her staff. I will report what I've seen, that the anomaly is contained, that Kratos has taken responsibility. But know this, Odin will not be satisfied. He'll want to see for himself, to test this control you claim to have. Then he can come himself, instead of sending warriors to die for him, the Hulk said. There was challenge in his voice, but also something else, restraint. Hulk not want fight. Hulk just want left alone, want Banner safe. Banner, Sif repeated. That's your name, your true name. The Hulk's form shimmered. The transformation reversed, but again, Banner felt every moment of it. He remained conscious, aware, in control. When he stood before Sif, human, naked, vulnerable, he met her eyes without flinching.
Bruce Banner, he said, doctor, scientist, and yes, sometimes the Hulk. We're learning to work together instead of fighting each other. If Odin has a problem with that, he can take it up with me, not send warriors who don't know what they're walking into. Sif studied him for a long moment. Then, surprisingly, she smiled. It wasn't warm, but it was genuine. You have courage, Dr. Banner. Facing a goddess of war while naked and powerless, that's either bravery or stupidity. Probably both, Banner admitted. Atreus threw him a cloak from the cabin, which he wrapped gratefully around himself. Look, I didn't ask to come here. I don't want to disrupt your prophecies or threaten your realms. I just want to find a way home, or, failing that, find a way to live here without hurting anyone. The Allfather could help with that, Sif said carefully. His knowledge of the realms is without equal. If there's a way to return you to your world, he would know it. At what cost? Kratos asked. Odin doesn't give knowledge freely. He'd want something in return. Perhaps, but what's the alternative? Hide here forever, wait for the next attack and the next, until eventually the Allfather sends forces even you can't defeat? Sif gestured at the scattered Einherjar, who were slowly picking themselves up. These warriors were a test, a probe. If I report that you defeated them, Odin will send something worse, Valkyries perhaps, or he'll come himself. Let him come, the Hulk rumbled, emerging slightly, Banner's eyes glowing green, his muscles tensing. Hulk smash Allfather. No, Banner said, and the green receded. No, we don't smash our way out of this one. That's what Odin expects. That's what would prove we're the threat he thinks we are. He looked at Kratos. What if we meet with him, on neutral ground, show him we're not the enemy? You're suggesting negotiating with Odin, Freya said flatly. Odin who manipulated everyone around him for millennia. Odin who cursed me for daring to defy him. Odin who sees every being in the 9 realms as either a tool or a threat. I'm suggesting we try talking before more people get hurt. I'm a scientist. I solve problems. And this, he gestured at the battlefield around them, this is a problem we can't punch our way through. Kratos was quiet for a long time. Then, if we do this, we do it my way. Neutral ground, armed, with backup. And the moment Odin proves he's not negotiating in good faith, we leave. Agreed, Banner said immediately. Sif nodded slowly. I'll arrange it. The Allfather has been wanting to meet you, Dr. Banner. I suspect he'll agree to these terms, if only to satisfy his curiosity. She turned to her scattered warriors. Einherjar, return to Asgard. Tell the Allfather that the anomaly requests an audience. The Bifrost portal reopened, and the warriors limped through, supporting their injured. Sif paused at the threshold, looking back. For what it's worth, Dr. Banner, I hope you find your way home. The 9 realms have enough monsters without adding yours to the list. She smiled slightly. Even if your monster seems more reasonable than most. The portal closed. They were alone again. Kratos, Banner, Atreus, and Freya standing in the aftermath of a battle that had proven exactly what Odin feared most. Banner could be controlled. The Hulk could think. Together, they were neither weapon nor wild beast, but something far more dangerous. They were unpredictable. This is a bad idea, Freya said. Yes, Kratos agreed. We're doing it anyway, Banner said. Yes. Atreus grinned despite the tension. At least it'll be interesting. Banner looked down at his hands, steady, human, but that faint green tinge that never quite went away. Somewhere in his mind, the Hulk rumbled with satisfaction. They'd fought together, controlled themselves, proven they could be more than rage. But as Banner looked toward the sky, toward distant Asgard where Odin schemed and plotted, he couldn't shake the feeling that they just traded one problem for something far worse. The Allfather wanted to meet him, and when gods wanted things, people tended to suffer for it.
The meeting place was Tyr's temple, a neutral ground between realms, sacred to the god of war who'd once tried to unite all peoples before Odin imprisoned him. The temple stood on an isolated island in the Lake of Nine, accessible only by boat or bifrost. Its walls were covered in murals depicting every realm, every pantheon, every mythology that had ever existed, including, Banner noticed with a chill, depictions of beings that looked disturbingly similar to the Avengers from his world. Tyr traveled between realms, Atreus explained as their boat approached the temple. He believed all gods, all peoples could coexist. Odin saw that as a threat to his authority. So he imprisoned his own son for wanting peace. For wanting freedom, Kratos corrected. Odin can't control what he doesn't understand, can't predict what won't bow to his prophecies. The boat scraped against stone. They disembarked. Kratos with both sets of axes visible,
Freya with her wings manifested, Atreus with his bow strung. Banner wore simple clothes Atreus had found for him, but everyone knew the real weapon he carried couldn't be seen until needed. Inside the temple, Odin waited. He wasn't what Banner expected. No grandiose armor, no throne, no raven circling overhead. Just an old man in worn traveling clothes sitting on the temple steps, studying a book with his one good eye. The other eye socket was covered by a patch, and his gray beard was braided with runes that seemed to shift and move. But the power radiating from him was unmistakable. This was the Allfather, king of Asgard, wielder of Gungnir, the being who'd hung himself from Yggdrasil for 9 days to gain knowledge of the runes. Every moment in his presence felt heavy, as if reality itself bent slightly around him. "Kratos," Odin said without looking up. "Still pretending to be domesticated, I see. And Freya, looking lovely as ever. How's that curse working out for you?" His smile was poisonous. "We are not here for pleasantries," Kratos said flatly. "No, you're here because I summoned you." Odin finally looked up, and his single eye fixed on Banner with an intensity that made the scientist's skin crawl. "You know my name," Banner said. "I know everything worth knowing. Bruce Banner, born in your world's year 1969, brilliant physicist, exposed to gamma radiation during an experiment gone wrong, created a monster that lives inside you, though monster seems a bit harsh, doesn't it? The Hulk, the other guy, the big green rage machine. So many names for one entity. How do you know about my world? Because I'm the Allfather. Because I've spent millennia studying the world tree and the infinite realities that branch from it. Your universe, your Marvel universe, as you call it, is just one of countless possibilities. I've even met beings from your world before. Heroes, villains, gods pretending to be mortal." His smile was cold. "What did you do to them?" "Me? Nothing. They did it to themselves. That's the thing about beings of power, Dr. Banner. They always believe they can control their circumstances, bend reality to their will, and reality always proves them wrong." Odin circled Banner slowly, studying him from every angle. "You're different, aren't you? You don't want power. You fear it. You spend every waking moment trying to suppress the very thing that makes you special." "The Hulk isn't special. He's a curse." "Is he?" Odin gestured, and runes blazed to life in the air between them. Complex equations and energy patterns that looked disturbingly similar to the gamma radiation readings from Banner's lab. "I've been studying you since you arrived. Your energy signature, your transformation mechanics, the way your consciousness splits and merges. Fascinating, unprecedented. You're not just a man with powers, Dr. Banner. You're a living violation of thermodynamics. Energy doesn't just appear in your cells. It manifests from nowhere, converts mass in ways that should be impossible, and then reverses without consequence. It's gamma radiation, a known phenomenon in my world. In your world, perhaps. Here," Odin's smile widened. "Here, you're drawing power from something else entirely. Every time you transform, you're pulling energy from the spaces between realities, from the void that separates realities. You're a living bridge, Dr. Banner. A connection between your universe and mine." Banner felt the Hulk stir at the implications. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying you might be the key to preventing Ragnarok, or causing it. I haven't decided which yet." Kratos stepped forward. "If this is a threat, it's an observation." Odin waved dismissively. Calm down, Spartan. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to make an offer. He turned back to Banner. You want to go home. I have the knowledge to send you there. I've studied the branches of Yggdrasil extensively. I know which pathways connect to your universe, how to open them, how to stabilize them long enough for you to pass through.
At what cost? Banner asked. The scientist in him wanted to believe. The realist knew better. Information, cooperation, a small favor, really. Odin gestured, and the runes in the air shifted, forming an image, a mural on the temple wall that showed a massive figure wrapped in chains, sleeping in darkness. You've heard of Ragnarok, the end of all things. The prophecy that says I will die, Asgard will burn, and the 9 realms will be consumed. Atreus told me about it. What he didn't tell you, what even I didn't understand until you arrived, is that Ragnarok isn't an ending. It's a transformation, a rebirth. Odin's eye gleamed with something manic. The realms don't end. They change, evolve, and that evolution requires a catalyst, a force from outside the system, something that doesn't belong to any prophecy. Banner's stomach dropped. You think I'm that catalyst? I know you are. The moment you fell through reality, the Norns felt it. Every prophecy shifted. Timelines that were fixed became fluid. Fates that were certain became uncertain. Odin's voice dropped to a whisper. You're the variable I've been searching for, Dr. Banner. The way to change my fate, to prevent my death, to save Asgard. By using me, Banner said flatly. By working with you. Together we could rewrite prophecy itself. You control a power that exists outside the 9 realms. I control knowledge of those realms. Combined, we could reshape everything, prevent Ragnarok, save countless lives. And as payment, Odin gestured, and the runes formed into a swirling portal. Send you home. Simple exchange. Banner looked at the portal. It was beautiful. A window into his own universe, showing Earth, his lab, his world, everything he'd lost, everything he wanted back. The Hulk roared in his mind. Lies, all lies, One-Eye God tricks Banner. How do I know you're telling the truth? Banner asked. You don't. You take it on faith. Or you stay here forever, hiding in Kratos' cabin, waiting for the day my patience runs out, and I send forces you can't defeat. Odin's smile was sharp. I'm offering you a choice, Dr. Banner. Help me save the 9 realms and go home, or refuse and become my enemy. Choose wisely. Don't do it, Freya said from behind Banner. Whatever he's promising, it's a lie. Odin doesn't save realms. He controls them, uses them. He'll use you the same way. She's bitter, Odin said casually. I cursed her, after all. Took away her ability to leave Midgard, to fight, to interfere with my plans. Can you blame her for being angry? I blame you for being a tyrant, Freya snapped. Banner closed his eyes. Inside his mind, the Hulk was clearer than ever before. They'd spent 3 weeks learning to communicate, to understand each other, and now, facing this moment, both halves of his consciousness were in agreement. This was a trap. No, Banner said. Odin's expression didn't change, but something shifted in the air, like a tightening, like a noose closing. No? I've met gods before, in my world. Thor, the real Thor, not your son. Loki, others. And I've learned something about beings with power. You always think you're the smartest person in the room. Always think you can manipulate, control,
Predict, but you can't predict me because I don't belong here, and that terrifies you. I'm not afraid of you." But Odin's hand had moved to his staff, Gungnir, the spear that never missed. "You should be, not because of the Hulk, because of what I represent." Banner took a step forward. "You built your entire existence on prophecy, on knowing what comes next, on controlling fate. But I'm proof that fate can be broken, that things from outside your system can change everything. And if I can fall through reality, what else can? What other forces are out there that you can't predict or control?" Odin's eye narrowed. "You're refusing my offer. I'm refusing to be your tool. There's a difference." Banner glanced at the portal showing his world. "I want to go home, more than anything. But not if it means helping you enslave the 9 realms, not if it means becoming another weapon in your arsenal." "Then you've made yourself my enemy." "No," Kratos said, stepping beside Banner. "You made yourself his enemy the moment you tried to manipulate him, the moment you sent Sif and the Einherjar, the moment you treated him like a threat instead of a person." Odin laughed, a cold sound without humor. "The God Killer lecturing me about treating people properly. Rich." He raised Gungnir. "I gave you a chance, Dr. Banner. I offered you everything you wanted. You refused. So now we do this the hard way." The temple exploded with runic energy. Odin's true power manifested, not the old man facade, but something vast, terrible, and ancient. The very air bent around him, and Banner could feel reality itself straining under the weight of the Allfather's will. "Banner," the Hulk roared in his mind. "Let Hulk out, One-Eye God dangerous." "Together," Banner said. "We face this together." The transformation was instantaneous. Banner and Hulk merged completely. Not one personality dominating the other, but a true fusion. When the Hulk stood before Odin, his eyes glowed with gamma radiation and human intelligence combined. Hulk and Banner say no. Gold God can't make Hulk a weapon, can't make Banner a tool. We choose own path. Odin's smile was predatory. "Then let me show you what happens to those who defy the Allfather."
Gungnir flew, not at the Hulk, at Atreus. Kratos moved faster than thought, intercepting the spear with his Leviathan axe. The collision sent a shockwave through the temple that cracked stone and shattered windows. Freya's wings exploded outward, and she launched at Odin with veneer magic blazing. The Hulk charged. The battle that followed would be told in legends for generations. The Allfather versus the God Killer, the Veneer Goddess, and the Gamma-powered Anomaly. Powers that had shaped the 9 realms for millennia, clashing against forces from beyond reality itself. Odin thought with precision, born of eons. Every spell was perfectly timed. Every strike was calculated. He used the temple itself as a weapon, triggering ancient wards that exploded with elemental fury. He summoned shadows that clawed at minds. He twisted perception until up became down and allies looked like enemies. But the Hulk was learning. Every blow he blocked taught him Odin's patterns. Every spell he endured showed him the limits of runic magic. And more importantly, Banner's mind was analyzing, calculating, finding weaknesses in the Allfather's seemingly perfect defense. "He's pulling power from the world tree," Banner's voice emerged through the Hulk's throat. "Cut his connection to Yggdrasil." Kratos understood instantly. The blades of chaos, weapons forged in Greek fire, outside the 9 realms' power structure, could sever that connection. He spun the chains, and the blades wrapped around Gungnir, yanking the spear from Odin's hands. The Allfather stumbled, just for a moment, just long enough. The Hulk's fist connected with Odin's chest. The impact sent the god flying backward through 3 temple walls. He hit the ground outside, and for the first time in millennia, the Allfather looked surprised. Impossible, Odin gasped. You're just a monster. The Hulk loomed over him, fist raised. Just an anomaly. Just something that shouldn't exist. He lowered his fist slightly. Hulk done being what God say Hulk should be. Hulk choose now, and Hulk choose no. Odin's eye blazed with fury, and, deeper, something that might have been fear. You'll regret this, all of you. I am the Allfather. I know every outcome. I've seen every possible future. Except this one. Banner's voice merged with the Hulk's. That's what scares you. We're the future you can't see. Odin raised his hand, and for a moment, Banner thought he'd unleash some final devastating spell. Instead, the god simply vanished, teleported away in a flash of runic light, leaving only his voice echoing through the ruined temple. Ragnarok is coming, and when it does, you'll wish you'd taken my offer. Silence fell over Tyr's temple. Slowly, carefully, the Hulk transformed back. Banner collapsed to his knees, exhausted beyond measure. Kratos caught him before he hit the ground. That was a terrible idea. Yes, but a necessary one. Odin needed to understand he can't control you. He'll come back, Freya said grimly, with armies, with plans, with prophecies bent to his will. Let him, Atreus said, and there was steel in the young god's voice. We'll be ready. Banner looked at the three of them, this makeshift family that had taken him in, taught him control, and stood beside him against the most powerful god in the 9 realms. In his own world, he'd always been alone with the Hulk, always isolated, always the monster everyone feared. Here, impossibly, he'd found something he never expected. Belonging. I can't go home, can I? Banner said quietly, even if I wanted to. Odin showed me that portal to manipulate me, but the truth is, there's no way back. We don't know that, Atreus said. Yes, we do. If Odin could send me home easily, he would have done it just to get rid of me, but he can't. I'm stuck here. So I guess the question is, what do I do now? Now? Kratos' hand clasped Banner's shoulder. Now we prepare, because Odin will move against us, and when he does, we'll need every advantage we can find, including a giant green rage monster who's finally learning to think before smashing, especially that. Banner looked out at the Lake of Nine, at the frozen landscape of Midgard stretching to the horizon. Somewhere beyond that, Odin plotted. Thor drank and waited. Ragnarok approached like an inevitable storm. In his mind, the Hulk rumbled, not in anger, but in determination. Hulk and Banner now together. Hulk and Banner strong. Gold God want Ragnarok? Hulk give him something better. Hulk give him revolution. Banner smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of a man who'd finally stopped running from his monster and started running with him instead. Okay, let's see what 2 personalities, infinite rage, and absolutely no place in prophecy can do to change fate itself. In the distance, thunder rumbled, but for once, it wasn't a threat. It was applause.
Now, the boy ran toward what remained of the cabin. Banner stood on shaking legs, pulling the furs around himself. What is that? The worst possible timing, Freya muttered. She and Kratos exchanged a look that carried volumes of history. The thunder intensified. Lightning cracked across the clear winter sky, unnatural and angry. And then he appeared, materializing from a bolt of electricity like something conjured from a storm. Thor was nothing like the myths Banner knew. No cape, no winged helmet, no noble bearing. This Thor was massive, easily as tall as the Hulk, broader, with a beard matted with mead and eyes that held the kind of violence that came from centuries of killing. He wore battered armor, carried Mjolnir loosely in one hand, and swayed slightly as if drunk. Which, Banner realized, he probably was. Kratos. Thor's voice was a rumble of distant thunder. Been a while, hasn't it? Still playing house in the woods? Still pretending you're not what you are? A monster dressed up as a father? Leave, Thor. This doesn't concern you. Oh, but it does. Thor's eyes found Banner, and his grin was all teeth. The Allfather sent me. Said something fell from the sky. Something strong. Something that might be a threat to Asgard. He tilted his head. That you, little man? You the thing that shook the realms? Banner's heart hammered. He could feel the Hulk already responding to the threat, eager for another fight. I don't want trouble. Bit late for that, Thor took a step forward. See, I'm the Asgardian god of thunder. When something threatens the realms, I put it down. Simple as that. His eyes gleamed with something uglier than duty. But I'm hoping you'll give me a reason. Been too long since I had a proper fight. Thor, Freya's voice carried warning. This isn't... Shut up, witch. This is between me and the freak. Thor's gaze never left Banner. So what's it going to be? You're going to come quietly to Asgard, let Odin poke around in your head, figure out what you are? Or, his grin widened, are you going to make this interesting? Banner's hands began to shake. His vision tinged green at the edges. The Hulk was screaming in his mind, demanding to be let out, to smash this arrogant god into paste. Don't, Banner whispered. Please, if I transform again so soon, I might not be able to change back. I might what? Hulk out? Thor laughed. It was not a kind sound. Yeah, I heard you talking. Heard about the big green monster. Heard Kratos say you're strong as me. He raised Mjolnir. Lightning crackled around the hammer. Let's test that, shall we? Kratos moved between them, axe raised. You'll have to go through me first. Now that, Thor said, his grin becoming genuine, sounds like a fun afternoon. The frozen lake groaned beneath them. Banner's skin began to green. And in the distance, watching from Asgard through the eyes of ravens, Odin smiled. The game was beginning, and the 9 realms would never be the same.